D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss it down below in that comment section. You can also find the articles for each one of these stories in that section down below, and so you can read it for yourself. So for my first story, Peter Capaldi is joining James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and Warner Brothers has also reported that Saturday Night Live's Pete Davidson has been in talks for a small cameo in the movie. And there's a chance that he'll be filming all of this in between breaks on Saturday Night Live. And that deal is still coming together, and no details have been given regards to which roles Capaldi or Davidson will be playing. And then there are small rumors that Zatanna might be in the movie. So first thing, I don't watch Doctor Who, so I don't really know Peter Capaldi's like a record as an actor. But I love Pete Davidson on SNL. I think he's great. I think that both of them, if Pete Davidson is a villain and he's only got a cameo, my thoughts were he could be a villain that's in prison that doesn't go on the Suicide Squad mission for this movie. And then Peter Capaldi, I'm not sure what character he's going to play either. It does seem like, I don't think that maybe he'll play a supervillain and go on the mission. Like, he'll just play like a regular person, maybe a suit. These are all my guesses and everything. But I do think that what's great about this movie is they're starting to add on all these, like, pretty much lame villains, like a rat catcher, and I think that is because they're called the Suicide Squad, and a lot of them are going to die. There's going to be a lot of deaths on the Suicide Squad this time around, because last time we only got like 2, and that was lame. So as far as Zatanna possibly being in the movie, I think this is a great idea. I love Zatanna. I can't wait for her to join the MCU, and I mean the DCEU, and I just love it. It's such a great idea. So for my, all these stories are about DC. It's so great. I love it. Anyway, so my next story number 2. So Robert Pattinson had a cover story in Variety earlier this week talking about his role as Batman, which is scheduled to start filming in January. Now, well, I personally think that Robert Pattinson is very charismatic, and even more so after reading this article. This is a very good article, you guys. I would suggest reading it. I'll leave a link in the section down below, but if you get a chance to read it. It's so great. So let's just go over some of the highlights of this article. So before Robert Pattinson even got the audition for the part of Batman, all those rumors started to come out about him getting the role, and he seemed to just freak out about it. So he would constantly refresh Google on his phone, and he would Google himself, and then on a plane that he was on to go and film the movie Lighthouse. Now, he was sitting next to, during this whole time, he was sitting next to Christopher McQuarrie, which talk about luck, which is the director of the latest a couple latest Mission Impossible movies. And he said that he was very nice to him about the whole situation. He was very kind and gave him some great advice. So I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Pattinson in the next Mission Impossible movie if McQuarrie does it. Anyways. So Matt Reeves Matt Reeves wasn't finished with the screenplay, but Robert Pattinson just kept like, hey, I'd love to play Batman, and he was constantly like, well, he was like, I haven't even finished the script yet. So then, Robert Pattinson was very diligent. He was like, hey, well, how about now? How about now? How about now? And Matt Reeves finally was like, okay, I'm done with the screenplay. Let's get you in for an audition. So he got in for an audition. So now finally Matt Reeves says, I'll meet with Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson shows up for the meeting and with a notepad of ideas of how he wants to play Batman. It's so great. I love the fact that he took the time to get in there and really dive into the character and wrote out stuff that he thought would be great to play this character, which I find it very impressive that he took the initiative. So one other thing that they mentioned was that he had tried on the bat suit, and that he was very powerful, and how it was very transformative and everything. And then he shared some funny stories about how about getting into the suit and how embarrassing it was. And I'm sure that the suit that he got into wasn't the final suit for the movie. It was just something that they had him put on so that way he could have that, you know, for the Batman movie. He also said that he found out that he was playing Batman on his first day of shooting the movie The Tenant, directed by Christopher Nolan, and then he's got coming out next year, which that movie is coming out next year, and then this year he's got the movie The Lighthouse coming out. So he's working very hard, and I think that he's coming off as a very much likable guy in this article. And something also of note, I think that he shared a story also about how he said he's got figured out how he wants to play 4 different scenes in the movie, which I think is great. I always think it's great when you hear these actors and their process, and I think that his process for this movie, at least, I don't know how his process is for the other movies, I think it's very, I think that it just comes off great. He comes off great in this article, and I would, again, go and read this article. It's such a good article, you guys. So for my last story, the Birds of Prey movie is going to have a trailer. Well, it has a trailer because it's already come out in front of it. That's only for the theaters. It's like a 40-second trailer. You can see it online if you really want to go on like Twitter, or I think it's on YouTube. It might not be on YouTube. They might have taken it down by now, but you can go and check it out. And so they've said that one is for only theaters. And then they are going to have another full-length trailer in front of Joker, and that will be online. Now, I think this is problematic. I read rumors online that they were saying they couldn't even piece together this 44-second teaser trailer without problems because they didn't have much of a movie. And one thing that they went through, was they hired another director to come through, and it was the director of the first John Wick movie, in Atomic Blonde. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I wish I wrote it down in my notes. But Kathy Yen obviously didn't have enough action sequences in this movie, which I think are problematic. And so they had to have another director come in and shoot action sequences. So they are in massive reshoots as of right now. They've started shooting them. And I think this says a lot about the movie. I think Margot Robbie as a producer, and then Kathy Yen as the director, and then Christina Hudson as the writer, all are obviously not fans of the comic books, and if they are, they're just casual fans because they didn't take the time to flesh out action sequences of a character that's very action-oriented. She has no superpowers, so she has to get her hands dirty, and sometimes she loves it. And I think that it's just very problematic that these 3 people who are involved in this movie didn't realize that and then take advantage of the source material that they could have. And they've got so much of this material that they can pull from, and they didn't do any of that. So I think that says a lot about this movie. I want this movie to do well, and I think that with these reshoots we'll have a Rogue One situation where Rogue One was looking to turn out like it was going to be bad, and then it turned out to be fantastic. If you're like me, I love Rogue One. So, so look for a trailer in front of Joker. So what do you guys think about these 3 stories that I've shared with you today? How do you feel about Peter Capaldi and Pete Davidson, 2 Peters, joining Suicide Squad 2? How do you feel about Robert Pattinson as Batman? Go ahead and read that story. You'll really like him. And then how do you feel about this Birds of Prey trailer situation? Go ahead and read that one too. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscription button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week next Sunday on my Week in Review. See you later, guys. Have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.